Good morning. Good morning, everyone. All right. Hey, Karathi. Charm Cuisines, Alex Lazar, all you wonderful people. All right. Let's do it. Let's draw something. That looks like a head, but I don't want to do it. It feels like I've done that before. Let's do a monster, a flying monster with a tail. Even though I've done that before, let's go for this. I see some sort of strange thing. I'll just do that. And you'll hear my son clean his room in the background, or I hope he is. By the sounds of it, he's demolishing his room, but we'll see. Hey, Svensen, Michal. Hey, Betalicious, you're new. Welcome. So, I saw some sort of demon flying monster thing. I'm saying demon because that's the closest thing, which you guys will understand. Ja, Hugo?
Vad ska vara min överraskning? Du hade lovat mig för att leka med Matilda.
Men nu ritar jag, så du får gå bort. Hey, good morning, Gaxix. And Dennis. Oh yes, the circle is complete. I think what I'm gonna do over the weekend is do another brush like this brush. I wanna do my own and kind of play around with the happy accidents. I really love the kind of scrapiness, the rakiness of the brush. It's really nice to brush with. It leaves a lot of nice patterns. It's not super smooth and clean like you get with a normal hard brush. And the chalk brush, it is too uniform. You need to work the kind of textures more, but with this one it's nice. So I wanna play with a new brush, see if I can construct something that creates similar patterns. Okay, time's running. I forgot if I had put on the timer, but it is. So, how's everyone doing today? What's with today's plan? I will do some card art for Legend. That's what I do today. I'm covering for an artist who's sick, so I gotta do his card based on his sketch. But it's going good. And we got more cards coming as well, which is fun. I like doing card art, like for Applebot or Legend. It's fun. It's also fun to see them in game. That's cool, Svensson. Best of luck with that. And Charm Cuisine, what kind of stream will it be? And why do you need to prepare for it? Yeah, Alex Lazar, it's easy to just kind of go with those. The reason why I like this is because it's, if you look at the patterns around the head here, it's really cool, random patterns that would not be there the same way with a hard brush. Oh, wedding party. That's cool, Michal. Yeah, exactly, Svensson. I was just going to say that, Dennis, that Magic the Gathering has lots of environment stuff going on. I think one of the few card games that actually have like locations, just locations in their card art. Oh, alright, that's cool. Charm Cuisine, so I'm assuming it's art stream then. That's cool. Svensson, yeah, very much. It's very hard. Were you at Jesper Asing's talk at the IFCC? Svensson. So what Jesper Asing said, for those who weren't there, he said more or less that he tried for so many years and thought he was so good that he should join. Who was the Wizards of the Coast? Wizards. And he had to go back and constantly go back to the old drawing board and reconfigure his attack plan, and then almost by a random chance he got accepted in, and it's very hard to get into that, and it's very interesting to hear his story about it, how to get into doing art for them. They have a very specific eye on art. All right, Betalicious, but glad that you introduced yourself. Lurkers are fine as well, you don't need to always talk, but glad that you decided to do it. Yeah, exactly, Svensson. For those people, it's a lot of connection, because they get such a high amount of requests, and that they just can't stay on top of it. So if someone says, "Listen, this guy you gotta take in," you get like a front porch. Like you get pushed to the front, and then of course you have to deliver and have art to show that you would be a good fit. Obviously, you can't deny that. It's just not like, oh, someone and then automatically you'll be doing art for them. You have to have the skills, obviously. Otherwise, they're just gonna say no. And why did you vouch for him? But obviously, Evan does kick-ass stuff. So I like Evan and Jesper. They're cool guys. So where are we time-wise? Okay, a third of the time has gone. Okay, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Yeah, exactly, Mikhail. You have to make sure that if you do vouch for someone, first of all, that you don't need to understand that you take on responsibility, and the artist that's being vouched for need to respect that and do everything to honor that agreement. You know, you don't wanna shit where you eat. This is taking some weird turn, this monster, but I'm digging it. I want some, like a big contract. Again, I think last one was Mafia 3 or Hitman. It's fun to do like a series of concepts that all tie in sit in the same world. I really enjoy doing those that kind of concept art where you just don't do one-offs but craft the whole world. I really enjoy that aspect of concept art, and currently I think a lot of devs are not like they are. Of course, they're always in between IPs and worlds, but I think let's take Witcher as an example, right? They've released Witcher. They're probably working on DLC, but I doubt that they're doing the whole team. I think what's going to happen then when they ship Witcher, I think a lot of artists are going to go over to what was it? Cyberpunk 2077? Was that what it was called? So I think now a lot of artists are on that project while they work on DLC. But when they're finished with DLC, I think they're going to regroup back the core team to start doing something else. And that part is what I love about being a freelance concept artist for games, is that you get slotted into this sandbox of experimentation, and you can design interesting things, and I know, and the projects usually move quite fast, and you get new directions and so on, and you can just kind of carve yourself a spot in the game by helping out visually, and I think that's a really fun part of freelancing. Yeah, Dennis, you can definitely do cars. Thanks, 142093. um, so, any tips for getting into concept art? Do your stuff, unique stuff, um, paired with skills, technical skills. But I think what they're always looking for is fresh blood, fresh point of views, and if you sit in a space art-wise where they've seen it before and you're just one of thousands, the chances they don't care and they're not going to hire you. But let's say take the example of let's say an example of doing some monster, right? Like I'm doing now. A monster is always just a monster on paper, you know. And when you look at the facts, a monster is just something that doesn't exist, that's supposed to be scary. But it's down to what you do to it that makes it yours, right? But let's say you have to do a horned monster, let's say in Doom style. If you would just kind of extrapolate the art direction, and that you have to do some monster that would fit there, what makes something interesting is what's your take on it, right? How do you see it? And at the beginning, as a concept artist, you're scared of doing that because first you haven't developed your taste that well, you know, your art direction. And I see a lot of people that kind of jump ahead of time as a beginner, and they get big contracts fast. It's because they manage to somehow. One of the reasons can be that they're right in time, right? Their personal tastes are very sellable, as in they're very, you can easily market them, and if art director sees it, they go, oh, that's cool stuff, because it's the right time with the right artist, right? But that's something that's always going to change. It's something very fluid, and you also don't know what's going to sell, and so on. But I think the easiest thing to start getting contracts is to do more you, in conjunction with skills. That's why studies and so on is very important, so that you brush up on your mechanical ability to create art and learn your process and all these things. It's so that you don't have a clumsy image. But then it comes to the whole other kind of aspect of, which is more undefinable, but what makes you you, and so on. All these design decisions that you're going to make, they have to evolve, they have to shift, because with time people want different things, but in the end it's always going to be you and your mind and what you prefer to draw and how you view the world, right? So it's very important to try to marry the two. That would be my suggestion, to just try to do your own stuff, or if you're scared and don't know what to do, take someone else's IP and remake it into how you want it to look. You know, like there's this one Swedish guy that's remaking Disney characters into steampunk characters, Um, it looks really cool. They're very kind of interesting and well designed, and I'm quite sure that he's gotten a lot of requests or people interested in or a lot of exposure because of them, right? It's an easy thing to share. Like, look at this cool image, and it's super easy that it lands in the right person's lap. If you get kind of go viral or have a link that's easily shared, like ArtStation. Wow, that was a long ramble. Michal, most likely, but they don't have specific people doing that. It's I think it's way less corporate. I think it's just like one lead artist saying, "Hey, have you seen this?" And they send a link around to the art director and the other leads and so on, rather than they have a specific person sitting at the desk just wading through ArtStation trying to find a good artist. You know, the viral aspect of sharing a link is very important, and that's how more or less people get jobs, exposure. And how unique is the art? You know, what's the reason why they should hire you? You know, how can you make it stand out? Gaxix, yeah, definitely. I mean, I did my steampunk Star Wars stuff. I mean, I'm not saying that's anything unique, and I wasn't the first one who'd done it, but I did it with my design sensibilities and my taste, and they exploded on internet. And I got shitload of exposure. I, you know, got in contact with Disney and Star Wars people, and all because I did some fun sketching on what I thought would be a cool drawings, you know. It's easily, like, it doesn't need to be that complicated. You just need to do cool things. And like I did on 25th anniversary of Super Metroid, I did a little painting with a friend that also blew up on internet. It became on a lot of websites, and a lot of people saw it and commented on it. And, you know, it doesn't need to be that hard. You just, like Michal said, learn the fundamentals. Oh no, Kilrathi said learn the fundamentals, and I mentioned it as well. It's a huge part of succeeding, is that you if you can't know the fundamentals, whatever you're drawing, it won't be an issue, because it's just a change of theme, and that is itself is going to be a challenge, but it's not an impossible challenge, because all you need to do is just think differently while using your fundamentals, and have learned your approach of how you like to do art. That's a big part of failing as well, when you switch it up too much and you don't know how to proceed or how to tackle an image. Again, this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this warm-up, is to experiment with technique and themes, just so I don't stagnate, so that I infuse new blood into my thought process. But that's me personally. I like to challenge myself that way. And due to it, I have progressed in a specific way I wouldn't have if I didn't. And I'm very happy that I did venture down this road. It's fun stuff. Michal, I think I would say yes. You have to take stuff like that in consideration. You know, what makes people go, yeah, that's nasty, or cool, or oh, I love that person. You know, And when you're designing stuff, you're always basing it on what you feel. But there's also a lot of things that you can learn by studying psychology and phobias and things like that. You know, people don't like spiders, and if you do a lot of spindly things, they go, "Ooh, what's that? Spider web." They associate with spiders, and a lot of people don't like spiders. So that's, you know, an easy card to pull. Uh, it's just with education, with when you're educated, um, you can make better decisions. And if you're don't know enough, you always have to guess. So what I always do is I do a lot of research on spare time. I read a lot just to fill my brain with knowledge that I can draw from. I'm not saying I know everything far from it, but I do pay attention to things. And, you know, if someone says they think something is creepy, I always try to like make a little mental footnote about it. For example, like, oh, I hate clowns. Or why do you hate clowns? They're happy but evil. They're happily killing people, or you know, or whatever. And those things is the things you can draw on when like you want to do this kind of psychological aspect of a character design. But it's so tricky to do right, you know. Definitely, Dennis. Definitely, Dennis. That's completely true. You need that you need to do all aspects. Sketching is great, but you also need to push your finishing abilities. You know, to wrap an image up completely, making it as good as you possibly can, and that's more than just a couple of days on it. You're like, it's easy to just get bored, but it's a complete different skill set to finish a painting completely, finish it. Alex Lazar, that's something you should think about as well. It's like, if you're going to announce a new painting, you know, show a new painting, don't just start being active like uh, when you're posting it. Like I learned a lot of it by having to market my own game, and if you would just post a link, like, here's an update, bam, people are not that interested because of like how search engine works and so on. So building up exposure until you hit what you think is a sweet spot to dump the final or the big update or whatever, you know. So if you're gonna work on a piece, start sharing sketches beforehand, or build up um, traffic, and then when you have traffic, post it, because a lot of search engines are based on traffic, and also metadata. You know, if you, whatever you tag it in, and you have to have consistency in how you're tagging words and so on. There's a whole separate field of getting hits. It's super tricky. That's cool. Cool, Michael. Do it. Some freaky monster today. Alright. That's it. Oh, thank you, Ruskinik. It's just daily sketching. Yeah, you have to be on top of that, Alex Lazar. It's completely tricky, but traffic is important. Alright. Thanks everyone for coming today. Have a great day. And catch you all tomorrow. Bye.